Leslie and I have known each other since early childhood. We grew up on the same country road in Mississippi.
I think why we're good for the community of Mississippi is because we're a product of this community. We are just two country guys, and we were embedded with what I call the diamonds of good character.
Come, join the family, and help us build the community.
Well. We got the drink slinger with us today. Charles finally made it into the arena. Man, do we have a lot to talk about today.
Oh yeah. I'm happy to be here. That's one of my favorite commercials too.
How you doing?
Harris.
It's like everything golden, brother. How about yourself?
Hey Harris, your internet is over there doing like the rain. It's in and out over there, man. What's going on? You've been cutting back on the bandwidth over there?
My signal's wrong. No, we ain't doing nothing no different.
See, I got a new set, and then you want to come in and you want to sling that cheap internet over there, and you messing up my new set, Harris. What's up with that, man?
No, man. I'm next to the router. I'm just close as I can get to the top.
All right.
Charles, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much, man. It's Friday. Got a lot to talk about, so let's get to it.
Well, let's get to it. And look, normally I know we stay pretty clean, pretty neutral, but you know what? I'm just going to come right out the box. And so the title of the show today is What Do We Do Now? And literally, the reason why it's called that is because that thought came to my mind multiple times this week, particularly when we think about the term social justice. And then when we look at what's going on in terms of health of Americans, particularly African Americans as it relates to COVID and the latest in trends and what's going on there. So, man, I'm just, because I know once Charles gets to dealing with the whole COVID issue, I know he has a lot of info. He's going to go deep. So I'm going to get my 3 minutes of fame right off the top, Harris. How about that? So I'm going to go in.
How about I make this suggestion? We have a professional bartender in the house. And after the last 4 days of the Republican National Convention, I think everybody can use a drink. So, Harris, why don't you let Harris talk a little bit about his business before you jump off into the deep side of the pool?
Well, fair enough. But Harris, speaking of what Charles just mentioned, if you were creating a special drink to get us through what we've just experienced the last week, what would you call it? And what kind of good stuff would be in it?
We probably had to call it the cure. And,
I like that.
We had to make something with some activated charcoal in it to get some cleansing going on in our system.
I like that idea, Harris.
Yeah. Like there's a local bar here got a drink called a Zombie. It's so much alcohol in it that first off they will only sell you one. If you get one, you cannot get another one for the duration of the time you're there. And it has activated charcoal in it just to help bounce back from some of the alcohol that they put in it. So we'd have to start off with the cure. That would be the name of it. And the main ingredient would be a cleanser. Whiskey and a cleanser.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. Harris, do me a favor. Turn your camera to get that horizontal view so you fit full focus so everybody can see you and relate to you. There you go. There you go.
I look better.
Yeah. Now I might actually be able to drink the drink. I'm good. That was messing with me. All right.
I got a little stand here I'm using.
Okay. So we got a guest today. So Harris, we're gonna start off with you.
There we go.
Tell us a little bit about your business. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what makes you, what gives you the name the Drink Slinger.
Well,
as soon as you get you.
My business basically is we provide good spirits bartending service. We provide bartenders for private events, parties, and functions. That can go anything from a wedding reception to a political fundraiser. Your grandmother's having an 80th birthday party. We come right to the family reunion and set up in the grass. With that being said, the COVID has kind of slowed everything down, and I'm in the state of Mississippi. Not having large gatherings, people being able to come together, that right there kind of just stopped people from being able to congregate. So since March, we've been affected by the COVID on the business side, but that never stops the education, and that's a good time to read up on some things, take some online classes, and also share with the community through videos and tutorials like I've been doing, because people have more time to sit still and pay attention to them than they did 7 months ago when everybody was too busy to do anything but party.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Harris, I know speaking of that, you've kind of made a pivot in your business, and I know we're going to have you back on in a few weeks to really unveil it and talk about it as it gets closer to completion. But I know that you've partnered with us and we're developing a course. So talk to the people a little bit about this course that's coming soon.
The course is for everyone. It's going to be I don't like to use the word beginner. Novice. It's going to be novice because it's for anyone that wants to be a drink enthusiast at home. We're going to show you how to make cocktails the right way. A lot of times we go to bars and restaurants and we say, "Oh man, $9 this drink weak." Well, that drink is properly balanced. When you're at home fixing cocktails, you pour as much alcohol as you want, then you add the mixer. And so then we're going to follow up with the second series. Going to show you how to do batch style. So that's for, say, you're having a small gathering of 12 to 15 people. You don't have to man the drink station. You can make margaritas by the batch, and everybody can just scoop ice in a cup and go to the pour spout and just push the button, and the margarita come out in the jug. Or whether it's a rum punch or any type of drink that can be made in bulk, so that you don't have to man the station and you can host and entertain your guests. But the ebook itself is just going to be informational. It's going to be step-by-step instructions, and it's going to have video tutorials so you can't mess it up.
Awesome. I can't wait. So, and here's the number one question: is the course going to be priced in such a way somebody like me, a poor man like me, could afford it? All right, I got to go take out a loan, Harris, to buy it.
It's going to be priced for the everyman, and the value is going to be the educational part itself, and you being able to recreate these drinks over and over and over again. You think about being a man or the matriarch or the patriarch of your family, and Thanksgiving coming up, and you get to whip up something right on the spot and impress Aunt Sarah and Uncle Charles and cousin Leroy, who came all the way from St. Louis to see y'all. And that's just going to be a good feeling. But the price point is going to be in the dollar range and not in the double-digit dollar range, because we want everybody to be able to afford
it. Good deal. Charles keep me on a pretty tight budget. My budget is like $3. So, it's got to be in my price.
We'll sell you one for $3. You tell everybody else to go to the website.
Harris, talk to the people a little bit about that virtual party. You did a virtual bartending gig that I attended that was very unique. So talk to them about that, because I think that's something, especially with COVID still running full speed ahead, people might want to get together and have that as an option.
Yeah, that was a very unique experience for me. The first time doing it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. A friend of mine's wife was having her 40th birthday party. So what we did was we gathered all of her friends together, And because everybody was social distancing and quarantining, everybody couldn't congregate. So I just made recipes for what they had pre-existing already in their kitchen. So what I'm telling one guy and his wife to make is not the same as what I'm telling a whole nother household to make. And so we just went around the Zoom in a circle, and I told everybody what they could make with the ingredients that they had. And so, surprisingly, a lot of her friends had a bunch of alcohol and a bunch of mixers on hand.
Yeah. It ended up being quite an interesting night.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was fun. I think we had a good time for a solid hour and beyond. Like, we had a great time.
So there you have it, guys. So that means you can party and have a good time and social distance and still hire a bartender. Now, I do believe they took good care of you.
Everything was fine. I couldn't have asked for it to be any better. Any more, and I'd have started feeling myself. I'd have raised my prices.
Yeah.
But to all jokes aside, they say necessity is the mother of all invention. So we invented a system that allowed us to have fun and party over the internet via the corona shelter in place. So that was a good thing that came out of a negative, you know what I'm saying, which we're all going through. Like, there's no one in the country that isn't being affected by COVID-19.
That's right.
Right. Well, with that being said, man, I'm glad to have you for the conversation today as we dive into some of these topics. Let's just hit it. Social justice. I mean, listen, I wanted a drink a couple times this week, Harris. Let me tell you, it's been a rough one, but it really brought me to the question because I was watching something, and believe it or not, my daughter had told me this one time, and I never forget when I was getting on her, having a conversation with her about something, and I was elaborating, and she just simply looked at me and said, "So what do we do now?"
Yeah.
And I thought about that at this state. Particularly I was listening to the commentary that Shannon Sharp gave this week, dealing with the young white teenager that walked by the police and killed two protesters and had a drink of water. And I'm trying to figure out, and he framed it to say, so when did the color of my skin become more threatening than that kid with the assault rifle? And so I got to tell you, it set me back. It really hit me hard, and I had to really take a minute and kind of get balanced, because sometimes, man, if you don't do that, you can just become angry, and I don't angry in not the right way. And so I wanted to make sure that I processed it, and then I had to kind of explain that to my daughter.
Uncontrolled anger is ignorance.
Say that again, Harris.
Continue. Oh no, I was just coming. You said being angry in the wrong way, and I just commented. My grandfather used to always say, "Uncontrolled anger is ignorance. It'll cause you to do things in the moment without a full thought process. Uncontrolled anger is ignorance."
Gotcha.
Continue. Yeah, but I didn't mean to interrupt. I just was throwing it out there.
No, you're fine. You're exactly right. You wanna react in a way that's balanced. So that's why when times like this, I usually get on the phone, and the first call I make, I call Charles, because he's very good at balancing me out, because he's always going to be slow and calculated and deliberate. So I got to go to him right now. Charles, talk to me. What do you tell the people that have watched as this week has unfolded, as we start with the whole Jacob Blake situation and what is transpiring now? A lot of people are thinking, here we go again. What do we do now? I mean, give me something.
Well, I want to start with two things, Leslie. James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. And I think that's where we are right now. I think that's the answer to your question. We have to face the demons where they are. This week has been not even a roller coaster ride. It's been, to use a word that I really don't like, it's been deplorable. You've had Jacob Blake shot in the back 7 times, and up until 3 hours ago, he was shackled to his hospital bed, even though he was paralyzed. To me, that is the height of two Americas, because while we don't know all the facts and circumstances surrounding that case, we did see that 17-year-old kid walk toward the police with an assault rifle and gloves on after he had just gunned down two people, killed them dead, and one other person grievously wounded. But we see Blake getting shot in the back 7 times, paralyzed, fighting for his life. But when he comes to, he's shackled to his bed. They just took those off just because of the outcry. And so that just made me think back to Emmett Till, especially today being the day that he was, kidnapped, killed, August 28th. So we grew up hearing the stories of Emmett Till. And it's saddening to think that Emmett Till draws a line through Breonna, Arbery, Jacob Blake, Amadou Diallo. I mean, it just goes go down through the line, Leslie. It's just so many names that it's I sent you a slide. Put that slide up for the people just so you can see the lineage, which is nothing to be proud of. And in fact, it demonstrates why not that one. It's one with his name, and then it has the names of the other people who just been killed. George Floyd, the whole list. His name is right in the center. And I just want to put it up for a second because I think in order to know where you're going, you got to know from whence you've come. If you'll just blow that up. We remember Emmett Till. And if you see in the background, those are the names of fallen Black men and women. Sandra Bland, on down through the list. Ahmaud Arbery.
You mentioned Amadou Diallo. That's the young man that was killed in New York. They say that when the police autopsy came, he had bullet holes under his armpit, which let them know that his hands were up in the air.
That's right.
That's the only way you get shot under here.
That's right.
If your hands in the air.
That's right. I mean, I saw, and that's why I said it's just been deplorable, because I saw the Attorney General from Kentucky speaking at the Republican National Convention. Mm-hmm. And as a public servant myself, as an officer of the court, it pained me, because you have time to go to a political function, but you don't have time to deal with the abject failure that occurred in the death of Breonna Taylor. And so you draw that line to Emmett Till, August 28, 1955. And here we are, August 28, 2020. You have people marching on Washington. We're in the midst of a campaign for the soul of America, literally, because you have one side that doesn't seem to get it. I heard directly from the steps of the White House, which I will deal with that a little bit later. But I heard talk about the rioting in Kenosha, Wisconsin, from the president himself, which lets me know that he's aware of what's going on. If you can talk about the rioting, then why can't you talk about the systematic oppression that caused that rioting? There's a reaction in rioting. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
The great Fannie Lou Hamer.
That's right. I mean, you have a voice. You're supposed to be able to in America, you're supposed to be able to express. And I really believe, anybody got their kids in the room with them, cover your ears up. Because I believe there's some shit in the game. I believe there are people that are infiltrating these peaceful protests in order to help win a political campaign.
Well, yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And guess what? That's not just today's revelation. If you look back, history teaches us that it was the same historically.
I know, but I'm just saying, at this point, you just saw a 17-year-old vigilante take it upon himself to interject himself all the way from Illinois to Wisconsin and end up killing 2 people. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. So that's where my head is at when I think about this. You know, I work tirelessly for clients, trying to help them restore their lives and deal with you know, harnessing and taking care of their constitutional rights. But we are constantly confronted with the fact that although we are not the majority in this country, we are 6 times more likely to be killed by the police. And it pains me because I know good police officers. But at this point, knowing a good police officer is not enough. At this point, if you're not calling it out where you see it, then silence is being complicit. So that's where I'm at, Lesnar.
No, I appreciate that honesty. And if you know, and family, jump on in with your comments. We want to get you involved in the conversation today. We have to talk about this. We have to deal with this. Look, let me give you another example when I knew that we were living in a time that was very, very clearly different. So earlier this week, the family went to get some groceries, and we were in another area of town. So we went to get some groceries, and then we decided we wanted there was some certain type of organic stuff we wanted. So we went to this specialty store. And I have a 12-year-old, and she was horrified. She literally I saw anxiety, nervous to get out of the car, to go in the store. And then I looked around for a minute and I realized I'm in a grocery store. We've been in here for at least 5 minutes, and I may have seen 2 people other than maybe the employees that look like me. And so I asked her, I said, well, you know, every time I would move, she would move. And she just said, look, I just need to stand between you and Mom so I feel safe. I just don't feel comfortable being out. And so I thought to myself, in my whole life, I don't ever remember as a kid or adult where I was just uncomfortable being out. But with all the news and all that's going on, with all our kids are processing, it just broke my heart. Because the reality is the state of America right now is having consequences on our youngest folks so early in life that they're carrying anxiety that the 12-year-old shouldn't even have to carry. The kids shouldn't have to carry. That's where we are. So we have to talk about it.
Well,
she was uncomfortable in white neighborhood.
She's just uncomfortable being out right now. And she's really uncomfortable in a situation like that, where it's unfamiliar around her, where we're in a predominantly white area or something like that. Never happened before, but now, just with all that's been going on, she's uncomfortable with the police, even seeing them. I mean, you know, so just stuff that was never there before that's there now. And it's not just her, it's other kids and her friends. And I'm listening to conversation of kids because they have so much to say, and they're very sharp in their thinking, much sharper than we were at that age. And I got to tell you, as I sit and I hear some of the conversations, it puts chills in me, because the fact that they even have to think about that, you know, at such a young age.
Yeah. So, yeah, 12 years of age.
Exactly.
Well, think about this. When you brush your teeth in the morning and you look in the mirror, you see brown skin. Now, we've all been taught to love one another, to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Somewhere along the way, those commandments and those golden rules, do unto others as you would do to yourself, are sorely lacking. So when you're brushing your teeth and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you begin to wonder, is the skin I'm in that threatening that it could cost me my life today?
Well,
I think the younger generation don't know the fine line between doing and understanding. And I'm gonna make that make sense. Like when we say, what do we do now? The first conversation we need to have is how do we do what we need to do now? So what our generation did, and I'm 41, what our generation learned from the generation before us was quit hating. And we've taught it to the generation beneath us, but we didn't tell them exactly what hating was. See, first, it used to be a time where you could draw a picture of someone and you can say, man, I drew this picture of you. And they can say, man, this don't look like me. And you would just be like, go back to the drawing board. You would erase a couple features, maybe change the nose, change the eyes. You would hone your craft and get better. Well, now we just say, oh, man, F that, he hating. No one takes the time to learn or understand anymore. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with, I call this the end trilogy. It's the three worst things that ever happened to us. Keeping it real. Yeah, we were taught to keep it real, but no one taught us the difference between keeping it real and what's real. Like art imitate life. Life don't imitate art. So you got people out here trying to live a life that they see being portrayed on social media and on television and Netflix when it's the other way around. Instead of spending time trying to impress people, you should spend time doing things by which others will be impressed. No one wants to do any work or put in any understanding. Go ahead.
I hear you, Harris. I hear you. But here's where our roads go this way. Trayvon Martin was getting some Skittles in an Arizona tea. Breonna Taylor was asleep in her bed.
Bolton John was sitting in his own apartment eating some ice cream.
Yeah. I mean, so time after time, I get that you giving the code. I get that. We know those codes. But what I'm saying is, you keep hearing all lives matter. You keep hearing blue lives matter. But nobody wants to acknowledge that black lives matter.
Yeah, I think maybe I was moving a little too slow. My statements were independent of the isolated events. My statements were all to say that once we get to the point of what do we do now, we need to know how to do what we need to do now.
Okay, all right.
You see what I'm saying? I wasn't blaming any of the victims for lack of knowledge or their part in the wrongdoing. They had no wrongdoing in that part. I'm saying as we move forward, we need to teach the generation how to move forward with understanding instead of just letting them follow a bunch of cliches and a bunch of what the old heads told them, but didn't give them any understanding. Because like we grew up in a no snitch culture. You know what I'm saying? Like it's improper to snitch, but now you have you have zero accountability in the community because nobody knows anything. You can physically see someone breaking Miss Johnson's house and it's Carlos and Rico, but you won't say anything. Then when your house gets broken into by Carlos and Rico, now you're mad and won't call the police. You see what I'm saying? It's the how to do what we need to do now that I'm speaking of, and not necessarily blaming the individuals.
I think the other thing we have to look at systemically too is, so when we look at the latest incident, and I just think about it collectively, and I shared this with somebody. I said it's not so much. Here it is. I'm not asking for a different type of justice. I'm not asking for a new kind of justice. I'm simply asking for the same justice. And see, we have to be clear on that, because so many times, and I had this conversation, a frank conversation. Well, what kind of justice? I mean, what do y'all want to do? Change the law? No. I want the same justice that you afford. I want the same treatment that you get. And so here's my example of that. When I look at, and you guys can share your thoughts, and family, please jump into this. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. When I look at, help me out, the young man in Minnesota, George Floyd, laying on the concrete, on the pavement.
For 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
8 minutes and 46 seconds saying, I can't breathe.
That's right.
And then I look at the gentleman, because I put his name out of my mind, but the gentleman in North Carolina that goes into Emmanuel
South Carolina. Mother Emmanuel.
I'm sorry, Charleston, South Carolina.
Yep.
That goes into Emmanuel Church and kills 9 African Americans after spending an hour in Bible study with them. I said, that wasn't it. I said, I don't want y'all to jump too soon because that's not the point. The point is, where I get upset is when I watch the capture or the apprehension of Dylan Roof, that's his name. When I watch the apprehension of Dylan, I am perplexed by the fact that no guns are drawn, no handcuffs are placed, no forceful action is done. He's simply escorted and allowed to walk out the car. And then on the way to the police station, you take him through the drive-through of Burger King to make sure he gets something to eat. That's not the same justice. So what I tell you is, if that was me and I go into a church that is a predominantly white church and I kill 9 white Americans, do I get apprehended the same way? Does it go down the same way? That's what I mean when I say we got a problem with how we administer justice in America. It ain't never been the same justice. We ain't asking for nothing different. We just simply asking for the same justice. We got 2 forms of justice in America, and I've said it, and we've been saying this for years after years after years, and the cup has finally run over.
Yeah.
So now that we are at what are we gonna do now? How do we affect change? Like, how do we affect change? Let's not just keep stating the problem. Let's not just keep rallying up the troops. You know, like Killer Mike say, every now and then you get a good leader come out here, he make a grand speech and get everybody's spirits all moved, but then we go back home and watch TV. Like, how do we do it? It's been my only plight this entire interview.
Yeah, and I think the answer to that, Harris, is in it's in this. And I said this several months ago, Liz, if you recall, when Black Lives Matter first started with wholesale protest.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've made that statement, what do? And you have to have thought about that step that Harris is talking about. What demands do you make? Now, anybody who knows me knows how I feel about the Lakers and LeBron James. I'm not a fan of LeBron James playing for the Lakers. That's sports. That's entertainment. What I am a fan of is LeBron James, when they decided that they were going to take action and have a mental day, and that the Milwaukee Bucks were going to talk to the state attorney general and let it be known that they wanted the state legislature to come back into session and to take action because of what happened to Jacob Blake. When they had the full players meeting, they got mad with LeBron because LeBron said cancel the whole thing. Don't do it if you don't have that plan of action that you're talking about. And some people flipped it around and tried to say, oh, LeBron is trying to, you know, not help the cause. He was saying exactly what Harris is saying right now. We need to have our stuff together before we take this step, because people are going to be looking at us and wondering why we're using entertainment as a way to actively seek social justice reform. So his point was, let's have
that we don't do. They stick together.
Yeah,
like we show up unprepared, and then when you have a difference in what you think may need to happen inside our dichotomy, just our side, now we beefing with each other, and they still a united front. The one thing that they do better than us is stick together.
Right.
We'll show up. Oh yeah, we love to show up. We put our fresh polos on, our new shoes. Oh, I'm gonna put my Air Max on today. I'm going protesting. It's a lot of walking and protesting. Put my Yeezys on. I'm gonna be fresh as hell out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the first sign of combativeness, we don't articulate well because we start yelling. We come out of character. You know what I'm saying? We lose our train of thought and our emotion, which is, Leslie, I pointed out earlier, uncontrolled. It's okay to be angry. Uncontrolled anger is ignorance. You see what I'm saying? You let them antagonize you to the point to where when you start becoming insulting, now they got the right to remove you from the whole group. And these people over here that's doing the accosting, they doing the accosting, but they ain't saying nothing. You haven't affected any change in doing all the talking. and then they remove you. Now we back where we was.
That's right.
Now we finna go home and watch TV.
That's right. You have to have a larger scope of what you're gonna do. And I think it starts, it's okay to take that stand, and I think you should, because civil discord is a part of perfecting the union. But you got to have your ducks in a row. So we've been talking about a series of things that you can do for the last month that can affect change in America, namely knowing where your vote should be, knowing how those, and there it is on this, one of our viewers is posting, and at least it's saying grassroots efforts, local elections, voting in off years. One thing that we do very terribly is we will vote for a president, but we won't vote for that off year election, and that's when they make hay, because those are the people that draw your lines. Those are the people that are making policy in the state house. Those are the people that are on those 2-year terms that have real power to do stuff. Federal is one thing, but you need to be local. I don't care if it's dog catcher.
Yeah, local politicians dictate the quality of life.
That's right. That's your quality of life. If you don't get a good dog catcher, then you're going to have dogs loose in the neighborhood.
The reason why you got to get the front end alignment every 6 months, because the Department of Transportation, the streets is ragged.
That's right.
You ain't know who DOT is in your city and state.
That's right. So those things are just as important as the presidential election. Now, I'm going to say this out loud. This presidential election, you probably want to vote. You want to vote like your life depends on it, because, not only do we have a liar in chief, we also got a pandemic that's still on the loose, killing folk, right at 180,000 right now. You got schools that are trying to go back in, and parents trying to juggle work and virtual school.
He gonna win again.
Yeah, well,
he gonna win again.
Well,
he gonna win again for the same reason he won the first time.
Yeah, I disagree with that. We gotta bend the wheel. We gotta bend the wheel, bro. We got 60 days to bend this wheel.
I mean, I don't want him to win. I'm just saying in my heart of hearts, you know what I'm saying? Well, I think he's gonna win for the same reason he won last time. Like,
I think that's a real possibility. That's why I spent as much time as I did in watching the convention, because I wanted to see what the dog whistle was. What's the real play that's going on? And what I'm hearing out of his own mouth is, especially when he referred to Kenosha, he gave it away. He's going to focus on law and order as if there is no systematic oppression or killing of black men and women. He's going to say that they are the reason that there is chaos in these neighborhoods. And that might be a winning play, but it's up to us to put a counter narrative out there that's true.
Biden think he helped himself by getting Kamala. He hurt himself. You got a lot of the old constituents, let me say the 65 plus population. They not gonna vote for Biden just because they don't want to see no female vice president in office.
Well,
he hurt himself. Put it like this: I ain't gonna say more. He hurt himself just as much as he could have helped himself. So he did again, split the vote. And like I always say, they do one thing better than us all the time, and that's stick together. They plan be united, and it be solid, and it stay the same from day one to day end. Biden just split the vote again. Ain't no white man 65 gonna vote for no black woman.
I disagree with you. Here's the thing.
Ain't no 65-year-old white man gonna vote for no black woman.
Well, but here's the thing. There's enough people that will.
And her name Kamala.
Yeah. Here's the thing about that though. We can't worry about that part. Joe Biden is the presidential candidate. And like I said on a very heated show a couple weeks ago, I don't care. As long as he don't pick what's my man name off of Andy Griffith that let himself in the jail cell when he
you talking about
Otis. As long as Otis. It shouldn't matter because this guy is killing people. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. He's killing people. Yeah. It's up to us to go out there and make sure that our community is there in force. And if you look at it, Harris, if you look at the election results from 2016, it was not white men that failed. It was white women. Let's call it what it is. They said they were going to do one thing and they did something else, and they voted for him.
And I guess, and even if I'm wrong, this is a personal opinion statement. What I'm saying is, what just recently happened, everybody that were going to vote for Trump still going to vote for Trump. Those who were voting for Biden are now undecided. So Trump may have gained some more voters because some of them ain't going for no woman vice president. And a black woman and her name Kamala. We live in America.
I can respect your viewpoint on that, Harris, but here's what I will tell you. I think she is diverse enough, even inside of her own skin. She's part Indian, part Jamaican. She's from California, from the East Bay. She has her sorority behind her, and that's just all outside of her upbringing. That's superficial stuff to me. She has the substance to go toe-to-toe, and she's ready to lead right now. Now, they got all kind of false arguments out there about her. That's fine. People are entitled to believe what they want to believe. End of the day, what I see is almost 6 million people infected with a virus. 180,000 people dead.
Let me put the equalizer up, because to Harris' point, here's the equalizer on that. See, it's all sounding good, and maybe I wouldn't have, but here's the problem. I just watched my brother die, and he's part of this 181,000 dead from a coronavirus that this administration has just mishandled from the beginning. We have more deaths than any other country. We on pace to have more deaths than all other countries combined.
That's right.
We have more cases than all the other countries. We have more cases than China, and it started in China. We have 5.9 million cases. When we were on this show last week, we only had 5.4. We have 181,000 dead. When I first started putting up these national numbers, it was 163,000.
That's right.
So the reality is COVID is touching everybody. Everybody. That's the equalizer. So when you have a pandemic and you have lost people, you're going to blame it on the who's in charge and the administration in charge, and rightfully so. When you look at other nations that have more people, China has much greater population than we do. We only have 50 million people in the U.S. China has that probably in one city.
Nah, they don't have that many in one city now.
But they have billions of people
showing out.
He count people and bicycles.
Right.
You know what? I'll tell you exactly what China has. I'll find you the
not in one city, brother. Not in one city.
Well, we don't have 300 million in one city. That's the whole United States.
Yeah, but you said they had it in one city now. Let's keep our information.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me reframe. Let me bring it back. They have 1.4 billion people in China, and that was as of 2018.
Yeah. Now I can get with
that. There you go.
That's an accurate.
Now, all in one city, though.
We have 300 and something million. So last time I checked, now I got me on the one city thing, but here's the reality. Last time I checked, I don't care what kind of math you're using, 1.393 billion is more than 300 something million.
Yeah, right.
By a long shot.
So we'll go with that. Now, this is the equalizer to me, because when you look at COVID didn't have a preference of race. COVID didn't have a preference of location. It didn't only do West Coast. It didn't only do East Coast. It didn't only like the Caribbean. It didn't only like China. It didn't only like Australia. It was everywhere. But why is it that we have places that have less resources than us? Some of those places that have managed it so much better than we have.
Because they had effective leadership, man. Call it what it is. At the time that he took transition, he was handed a program that was out there to look for emerging pandemic.
He undid everything Obama had in place.
He undid it. And so when you do that, then you don't get to ask for a second term. You don't get to go to the people's house and turn it into Las Vegas and have a fireworks show that shoot your name off. No, you got to go in 60 days because you're killing people.
People out here starving. He talking about some hold up on the ticks. I want my name put on.
that type of foolishness, you know.
But listen, he gonna win for the same reason he won the first time. It's them antics, man. Listen, man, he ain't talking to us. The reason why black folk think he not gonna win again is because we got sent. But he ain't talking to us. He's talking to them. They understand everything. Let me say when you talk to a retarded child don't understand nothing you saying. When a retarded child talk to you, you ain't gonna understand nothing they saying either. So that's why we don't understand Trump.
Special needs child Harris. Is that what you trying to say?
Yeah, special needs. Special needs.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Trump.
You and Lily showing up.
Special needs that Trump I'm talking to, they understand everything he's saying.
So, but here's the
all
reality.
they know is he don't like us.
But listen, guys, and we're gonna get to the comments of our audience in a minute. Here's the thing: last election, we did not show up to vote. Now, let me just sway some, Harris. When you look at that, if you look at it statistically, if we show up to vote, just us, I forget what everybody else do. Say they still voted. If we show up to vote at numbers that are somewhere close to where we showed up when Obama ran, Trump doesn't win.
Man, look, y'all talking speculative. If you go back and look at the numbers from 2018, if we show up in the numbers for 2018, we in there. 2018 was way better than 2016. People learned their lesson, and now you got people dying. Ain't nobody staying home. Man, look at here. If I had to get me one of those NASA diapers like that lady who went to check on her boyfriend, I'm gonna do that. Whatever I got to do to get this vote done.
Hey, poise. You're going to have poise.
Right.
So I guess that means you're going to be in line voting, brother.
Look, I got to stand in line, mail it in or whatever. Now, Mississippi, I've told you, Mississippi is very restrictive on how they handle mail-in votes. You got 2 lawsuits going. ACLU and the Mississippi Center for Justice filed one in Chancery Court to see if they would make some type of concessions due to COVID. And now you have the NAACP and the Legal Fund out of Washington, D.C. have filed in federal court for the same exact reason. I told y'all this 2 months ago. You got to get your plan together.
Yeah.
It's not enough to talk about it. You got to have a concrete plan. I've been laying it out, man. You know I'm a fan of Harriet Tubman. All I need is a shotgun and a lantern.
Let's jump and see what the audience have to say. And guys, yeah, it's passionate. You probably see me more passionate you ever seen me because to some degree, we action is going to have to be taken. And the action I want everybody to be driven to take, one of the actions, not the only action, it's like Charles said, you vote in everything you are eligible to vote in. If it's dog catcher, you vote in that too. You got to be active.
And then hold them accountable. If you got a problem with Kamala Harris, give her a chance to do the job. Give her the same chance you gave Mike Pence.
And Harris, I tell you, man, you better. Harris, the audience is getting on you about that coming, man. I tell it. Harris apologizes. He said special needs.
Oh, I apologize. I'm just that old. I remember when that was a real term. I apologize to the man. You know, I apologize to the special needs people who were offended.
Mm-hmm.
It was not intentional.
Let's get to some of the questions. So Iris says the administration in charge just had nearly 2,000 at the RNC last night without social distancing and very few masks.
Yeah, it's a super spreader event. It's a super spreader of bullshit, and it's a super spreader of coronavirus.
Super spreader.
And I know my mama watching. Mama, you're gonna have to ground me. I'm tired of this.
Let me bring it up. It's hot in the comment section. Let's get to some of them. Charles, help me read some of these.
Leslie, what you just put up on the screen, I'm not dabbing into that because This is in line with what Harris was talking about. This is the play. They find a lot of black people to vouch for him. It's not because they know black people. Black people voted for him at a rate of 8% last time. He'll be lucky if he get 4% this time. Those people are not there to try to sway black votes. They are there to convince their neighbors that, see, he does have black friends. We can vote for him.
One is all it takes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just that simple. That's why I said it was BS all the way around. And like Harris said, it wasn't intended for us.
Yeah, he wasn't talking to us.
No, he was not.
He was communicating with his people.
That's right, and that's fine. They're like 42%. If we get out and do what we're supposed to do. Hey, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why you put my mom up there, man? You know.
You got Leslie getting at you for that all in one city.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at a point. I'm at a breaking point, man, because it's like this. I continue to see people dying for no good reason. No good reason. I see people out here still talking about football and sports and all of that. And I just like we told you, these schools are having to shut right back down because they didn't have a concrete plan. Just because somebody tells you to go do something, you're not about to run in a burning building.
Yeah. The school ain't big enough for social distancing.
Yeah.
How you gonna have students 6 feet apart from each other in each classroom? Somebody gotta sit outside.
Yeah. And then you think about the way the hallways are designed. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Think about this here. Everything being equal, I cut class size. I still can't change the size of those hallways.
Yeah. Cafeteria either.
No. So now we have people infected at an extremely high rate.
Well,
yeah.
Look,
you expecting grown folk discipline from toddlers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little longer show today, but I do want to get this in a minute. Just keep typing your comments in. I'm gonna get to them. I do want to give some shine to our sponsor today. A few minutes of shine there. Thank you again, Good Spirits Bartending. If you have any needs, reach out to them. Thank you for the sponsorship, Harris. Really appreciate that. I have at it. Keep the comments coming. I'll try to get them posted as quickly as they come in.
Happy for y'all to have it.
Yeah. Beautiful time.
Harris says some people chose to run into the burning building, y'all.
Yeah, and that's why you need a change in leadership.
Yeah.
Because you don't tell your people that if you are a leader with empathy anywhere in your body, you do not tell them to go for personal gain. And that's what happened. You told people to do something that was contrary to their best interest, and you have people out here who are listening to it, and they're putting everybody at risk.
So let me turn this cat, a little bit, just about 90 degrees. And I also want to deal with COVID. I want to stay right there and deal with it, but I want to talk about, and I don't know if you guys have the same concept of thought process I do, but I'll put mine out there. So I said, and I know Charles said, that before colleges even opened back up, like, whose bright idea was this? Who doesn't realize that if you put college age males, females back in an environment where they're together after they have been isolated, who in the world thought that they were going to be able to maintain social distance? Now, as we said, Charles has said earlier that when that happens, you're going to see cases happen right away. And schools are going to have to rethink or shut down and send them back home or do something else or put them in quarantine. And everybody knows what's going to happen. So why is this such a bright idea now? Who is surprised by what we're seeing? Whether it's Duke, Alabama,
University.
We just had 4 cases. What is it? Any thoughts?
COVID babies.
Housing money. If we calling it what it is, I can't get your housing money unless I bring you to campus.
Oh, so you're saying it's a financial play?
Come at me, bro.
Well, everything is.
Yeah.
That's the same way opening up the economy, like bars and restaurants, like financial play. No, the government don't care about your safety. Chris Rock said they didn't want his stand-up routines a long time ago. He said, man, cigarettes and alcohol kill more people than crack and marijuana all day in society. But crack and marijuana is not taxable. Cigarettes and alcohol is taxable. The government don't care about your safety. They want your money.
Right? Bright Light College is open to obtain tuitions, and if they close, they already have your money. Charles, you said that. You said that early on.
Yeah, but that's a one-time sting. That's a one-time sting. Like with what the at the end of Christmas, it'd be 2021 school year. If you've already got my second semester money, that's a one-time sting. I still got to show back up in August of 21.
What are you doing?
I'm working right now.
Go ahead. I see. He had to play parent for a second.
Yeah, that was just my general statement. Like for them to close because they already got your money, that's a one-time sting. And schools don't operate like that because they're a business. Like they gonna get all of it. They trying to figure out a way to get all of it. They want spring semester. They want that late money, June, July money, and they want you to come back in August.
That's right.
The government don't care about your safety. They're trying to get paid.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's sad but true.
As we get to the final minutes of the show, the final 5 minutes or so, I just want to bring us back to all of you, and we'll go to each one of them. Just your thought on what do we do now? What do we communicate? What is your charge to people that are listening to you now, that'll watch the replay of this show? What do you suggest they do now? We have all emphasized the importance of voting, but what else? What should they do now?
It's not enough just to vote. You got to bring somebody with you. You got 30 or so days before registration is closed. Asking for mail-in ballots is going on right now. So you need to have an organized plan around that. Take charge of your community, block by block, city by city, state by state. Got local races here in Mississippi that need a lot of help. Mike Espy is on the ballot against Cindy Hyde-Smith, and I don't know if she went underground and living under a rock or what. But you got COVID. We number one in the country per capita. She don't have a word to say. Got to put pressure on her.
Let me ask you this, because me and you in the same state. Do you think that because of what happened last time, like she ain't worried about him beating her? Like this her state. Like she was incumbent when she won last time. Like I ain't worried about him beating. What I'm gonna spend all this money for?
Right.
He so want me to be spending some money. I'm good over here. Like he gonna lose again this year, and I ain't got to spend $500,000 to make sure he do it.
Right. I agree with that. And I think that's what she's doing. She's running to not spend money so she can keep her war chest for another day. But we have to, that plan of action requires us to actually go out there and support him and do it. There's enough people that could vote for him that we could turn it. But we got to get to him. And some of them still not registered.
You got to think about how many people don't even know this election going on.
Yeah. I mean, so
last time everybody knew because of how much money Mike invested into it. It was in our community via social media and, signs when you go to places like Johnny T's and, downtown cigar. Well, you ain't going to these places no more because of shelter in place. So you ain't seeing no sign. You on social media, but he not doing that much advertising. She ain't spent no money. It's people out here don't even know that they running again.
Right. She's trying to ride the clock and use it to her advantage. Yep. So we just got to sound the alarm on it. We got to sound the alarm on it. Beyond that, we have to call out injustice where it is. And as Harris said, we got to take that next step.
Look at that comment right there. That says it all from Elise. We need the White House and the House.
Well, we got the House. We need the Senate. So we got to get 8 new senators.
And I think what she was referencing, we need both houses. We need the White House and should have said the houses. We need the power. And what you said earlier, Charles, was a very good point. In every presidential election, that 2 year, that interim election is the most critical and where we all lose mass. And if we even look back when President Obama was elected, he really had 2 years because we lost all the power after midway through his term because we didn't go to vote in 2010 in the midterm.
Got wiped out.
We got wiped out, and so therefore he couldn't get nothing bad.
We thought we had us a great president, but that's not how our government works. You got to have sustained voting all the way through, because what ended up happening is this: they blocked him in 2010. He ended up winning because we went back after we learned our lesson in 2012. Did a little bit better in 14, and then in 16 they kept the block going. And as a result of that, now we have close to 300 conservative judges on the federal bench and 2 Supreme Court justices that so far they've been doing decent, but you can't depend on that.
No, and keep in mind, they blocked him from appointing
right
in the whole last year of his term. So that's how powerful the House is collectively. Their collective power is enormous.
Well, stop saying the House now.
Yeah. Well, let me just say that's how much power the legislative branch has.
Yeah, legislative branch, the Senate and the House.
Right. And that's why I say collectively. So you look at those houses, those 2 houses together. We've got to be present everywhere.
Yeah. Right now, I'm gonna say short-term goal. We got 60 days to get this done. We got to vote because by the time election day comes, it'll likely be 260,000 people dead. And if you look
that's not good.
If you look at the numbers in Mississippi, our state is too small population-wise to be number 1. And they keep messing with these numbers by how they're reporting them. But I will caution you, look at the mortality rate. Look at how many people are dying every day. That number don't stack up to the numbers going down. So that's all the incentive you need to run as fast as you can to go vote and take somebody with you.
All right, final 30 seconds, guys. Give it to me. Give me your last, your final words. Final 30 seconds.
Well, you know what I want. I want to give a shout out to the Jackson State National Alumni Association, Jackson State University. We just had our National Day of Giving on yesterday. We set a goal of $400,000 to be raised. Very small school. I'm proud of the work that each alumni who decided to give and friends at Jackson State who decided to give. I'm extremely proud of where we ended up at. You see right now they're still tallying, but we exceeded the goal at $577,000, right at $578,000. The goal was $400,000. This is where we are. So we got to do for ourselves, people. We got to do. That's a good start. Let's keep it going.
And I encourage everybody to continue to vote on a local level. Local politicians dictate quality of life. Once you begin voting for your quality of life, then you'll understand how the federal system works. You can't worry about who the president is if you don't know who the Department of Transportation is. You can't worry about who the president is if you don't know who to call when your water get backed up. You understand what I'm saying? Local politicians dictate the quality of life. If you want a better lifestyle, you choose better politicians on the local level, and that will teach you how to play the game on the federal level.
You heard it. And guys, for me, hey, I just echo the same things. Take action. I'm tired of people doing nothing. Take action. Go vote. Take somebody with you. Take as many people as you can with you. In fact, right now, make sure they register. Get them registered. Time is counting and is running out. We don't have much time left to get them registered, especially depending on your state. So get them registered, and please make sure everybody in your house that's eligible to register not only is registered, but they go vote. And that's my point. As the long-term TV guy, in Jackson. He's gone now, but as Frank Melton used to say, and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
The bottom line.
I think that's the bottom line here. We've got to take action, and we've got to do it now. Until next Friday, we'll see you again with another great show. Hope you take a lot of action between now and when we see you again next Friday. Harris, we thank you for joining us. Charles, as always, we thank you for bringing the power. And hey, I'm just your humble, poor servant, just trying to do good deeds. Until next time, have a good one.
Shout out to Frank.
Leslie and I have known each other since early childhood. We grew up on the same country road in Mississippi.
I think why we're good for the community of Mississippi is because we're a product of this community. We are just two country guys, and we were embedded with what I call the diamonds of good character.